Oh, man.
We are back with the Brain Trust, the OGs, the true blues. Fuck you, Mike Spillane. Soccer's bullshit.
Oh,
You're in
get it?
America, you whore. I'm just kidding. I know he loves it, and they're doing well. So
He'll never be back.
Not the team, his podcast, but welcome back to another episode of Going For It. This is our first in the off season of nothingness. So there's like 6 weeks of essentially nothing going on in the NFL. So we're gonna recap some things that have happened. We're gonna do some divisional breakdowns, quarterback rankings again, and then I think next week we're gonna do our quarterback draft that we did last year. That was really fun. So we'll all snake draft it. I think that would be really fun. And then see where our top 32 quarterbacks fall. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Daniel Jones is 31. Yes, 31. Only
Who's
ahead
worse?
of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold in Minnesota, definitely worse than Daniel Jones, probably.
I don't know about that.
Sam Darnold can't run. Daniel Jones
I don't know.
Run.
I might take Darnold over Daniel.
I don't know.
Don't say that to my face. Don't say that to my face.
You cannot be happy about what your offense is looking at right now.
We're going to talk about that right here in a sec once we talk about the draft and thoughts on our teams or whatever. But we are back, and I wanted to start. If you guys have hot takes, please jump in. But I have one pertaining more to the team that is on my hat this evening. I'm representing.
Oh, I heard they're good at the stickball.
They're doing stickball stuff pretty well. But I have a hot take. We've talked about baseball a couple times on this podcast, and it's never in a flattering light. So I'm just going to continue that and say that baseball will not take a step up back into the relevancy of like the big three, as it were, until they get robo-umps. They are refusing and throwing away pitchers' arms and with this clock that they've added. The pitch clock cuts a bunch of time out, makes the games more watchable for casuals and things like that. That's all great. They are not doing robo-umps again next year. That came out already. They said, no, we're not going to do it. They may still do a challenge system, but there are too many fucking umpires that are bad at their goddamn jobs that apparently are part of the best union in the United States of America. So until we get robotic umps, baseball will not take a step forward. You have the ability to be a perfect game, be it called perfectly, appropriately, on time, and quick, and you're not doing it because of these old fucks behind the plate that don't have good eyesight. Get them out of the game, have them make the calls at home plate, and then fucking check those out on the scoreboard too, because these guys are old as fuck. And give me the robo-umps. I want the robo-umps. Give me the robo-umps. Fuck these old guys.
Counterpoint.
Hot take.
Most of the baseball I've seen the last 2 years are compilation videos of outrageous umpire calls. So without the outrageous balls and strikes from these umpires, I will have watched almost zero baseball over the last 2 years.
Yeah, but you're not watching baseball. You're watching a compilation on YouTube. The MLB doesn't get anything from that.
That's not true. I don't agree with what you just said there. Hold on. The MLB doesn't necessarily get a financial benefit, but they get an engagement benefit. And they don't care as a league, as a brand, they don't care whether you watched it directly from them anymore or if you saw it elsewhere. It's building the brand. That's why they fell so far behind. They have the worst marketing. They're getting better though, but they're getting better.
Baseball Guy 69 posts the video on YouTube. The MLB does care because it may be eyes for them, but it's not going to encourage you to tune into a game. There's no revenue coming towards them.
So, but that's where I'm with you on. They should absolutely use technology. I just think the way that what you're saying about baseball not being able to go further, I don't think that's what's holding them back. I think the leagues with the better marketing and better visibility will get
more exciting games and better superstars and better marketability.
But baseball's got some big superstars. They're just not. Sure. They weren't able to fucking get it right. Well, here's the thing. I think they're on the path now, but I'm biased, and this is not a hot take.
They are.
There's numbers are out right now that hockey this year is up 30% over where they were before. I think it's the McAfee effect of bringing a daily show, and he's got 35 minutes of hockey talk midday now, guaranteed. They're having PK Subban on all the time, Messier. Like, I'm fucking watching hockey. I'm like that person that would never watch it before getting pulled in. Baseball needs that. And Mike, you should be a fucking fan right now. Paul Skeens is a Pirate, and he's the hottest guy in baseball right now.
Yes. It's not McAfee necessarily. He's definitely a part of it, but it's just ESPN as a whole.
Yes.
30% is from hockey had almost nothing in the sports world to ESPN is now showing the game. So they have a vested interest in talking about it.
They made a great deal there.
I think
actually they didn't, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Why not?
Because they split it with TNT, which is not a sports network.
It went from
hockey.
I could watch every hockey game on the NBC family of stations to now I don't know where to go watch the hockey games.
Exactly.
I don't know if
next year, if you don't have TNT, you won't be able to watch the Cup because I'm pretty sure it rotates every year. It goes from ESPN to TNT to ESPN to TNT.
But I think sports have become desirable enough that if you want to watch, you seek it. You guys are talking about a model that's the old days. Like it's got to be on 3, 5, 7, 9, or 13 or nobody can see it. These days,
it has to be predictable.
I don't even know if I agree with that.
I just don't want to. I don't want to have to pay more money. Like you're probably
mad
TV.
at NFL. They're gating more and more games.
Yes,
there's going to be Netflix games. I'm not mad at them. I'm totally into that. I think it's like the natural occurrence of go where the attention is. The game gets more visibility, and now I get to love my thing more. Like I think that's how we got Quarterback on Netflix. I think that's how we got some of this New Heights podcast by the game morphing and growing. And I think baseball's a decade behind, maybe 50.
Well, that's true.
And hockey's closer now. They're
like 9 years behind. They're like 9 years behind.
But I know more about Nate McKinnon now than when you told me about him.
He's a stud. He's
a stud. And I watched Connor McDavid do things that I don't yet know to be impressive, but they talk about it like it's so impressive. It must be. He's dancing on the ice.
I mean, you got to think of it in the frame of like, put your shoe on and then put something underneath your shoe that is as thin as the base of your earbud and then move like he moves.
It's impressive. The goal, I actually watched a hockey game recently. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think baseball can be exciting again and can hit our nostalgia if they tell better fucking stories. And they're bad at it right now. Yeah, I think the Phillies are good and the Yankees are good this year. So we may have something to talk about in 11 months when it matters.
They're like almost halfway through the season. So,
but Mike, are you caring at all about the Pirates? They have some, not yet, not until they're like winning games.
I've watched I haven't watched any games. I've seen some highlights of the new pitcher, and that's it.
He got a standing O from the opponents for his first. He was there. He did like 6 scoreless innings. The Reds people there were like clapping for him. I was like, what? It made the news. Weird. It made ESPN. ESPN has drew my attention back. Like I've caught myself watching a few sports centers. This always happens though through the NBA finals, but I never watched Stanley Cup stuff. I'm like looking forward to this game 6. It's got to be a little exciting. Back to Edmonton. You're watching all Florida of them, wins. Right?
Yeah.
You don't see. I like the narrative now. Connor McDavid just set a record: 4 points in consecutive games, 8 points in 2 games. No, and they were down 3-0, but they won the last 2 like kind of handily. It would be more exciting if they win, and then Game 7 would be like, I'm feeling like must-watch TV type shit.
Oh yeah, if it goes 7, that would be historic. There's only been like 6 come from 3-0s back in the playoffs, and none of them are in the Stanley Cup final.
What's happening on the ice? I look forward to like letting Messier and Subban and Steve Levy tell me. I do not know all of the things, so I'm like a little distracted while I'm watching. I'm not like this happens to me in soccer too. Like I don't know the nuance of it, but I know when some good things are happening and people are working hard, it's enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. Well, all that to say, baseball, get your shit together, robo-umps, please. Also, thank you for firing.
They took our jobs. They took our jobs.
Good. You were bad at it. So I want to go real quick into NFL draft. Mike and I did a whole Spillane, not Thomas, did a whole breakdown. We did a couple mock drafts. And I wanted to see if you guys had any thoughts or feelings on your individual team's draft. how you're feeling about the guys that were brought into the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll throw it to Craig first if you have any thoughts and feels.
I had to look up who they done got because you threw that
So
in there.
You don't.
Well, because here's
care.
the thing.
I got it.
I don't care. I'll be honest. I don't care much about the draft class while I'm very excited about the season. I'm more intrigued by Tua's contract situation than I am by the Rooks. And not because I'm bummed. Like fine. I remember now we got the edge from Penn State. So that's cool. Get more on the defensive line. We need something because Wilkins left. I know he's interior versus edge, but you could maybe move a guy over rather than get a specialist. They picked up a tackle. We needed that help. A running back, a second edge, and 2 late wide receivers. Like, I like structurally what they're bringing in, but we are do or die by Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, right? And if they stay healthy, we have a robust offense that can score so many points, and that'll allow our defense to get better through the year. Because I fear they might need it. We lost too many pieces. So, but again, your original question was about the draft thoughts overall, and then my team. Overall, I felt there was some exciting stuff. I think the Bears got good fast with exactly what they wanted to do, plus the pieces they already had. They are one of the most compelling storylines right now for me. I actually look forward to seeing the Bears play in a game. Like, my dad and I like to go to Gators.
The last time that happened.
Never, dude, almost never. Rex Grossman, maybe.
Rex Grossman, Brian Urlacher.
But here, Urlacher was super watchable, really enjoyable, that defense. But Fields had that potential. I'm kind of excited to see what happens with this. He's on the Steelers, and there's a journey to that now too. But for me, a lot of the draft interest was early, and those guys are all over the place. You got Marvin Harrison in Arizona Cardinals. I'm excited to see what that is. Does this help Kyler have a resurgence, right? Because rookie wide receivers have had massive impact the last half decade. So he could be the one that is the next Justin Jefferson, who was instantaneously good. Jamar Chase, instantaneously good. That's what's happened in the league.
Mike.
I also had to look up the draft to just remember who the heck we got. And then I remembered. I saw the list and I was like, right. We got a gentleman by the name of Troy with American Samoa family ties. So I'm very excited about that.
Fulaga,
I feel like the precedent is there for just a fantastic career. Super excited about the...
That's racist.
No. I'm super excited about Zach Frazier coming in, and then a wide receiver in the 3rd round. So, as far as I'm concerned, we nailed that draft. And then, of course, to me, it was more about the offseason and pulling in all the quarterbacks.
Yeah. The Fields trade is going to be interesting. Obviously, we're not going to get any kind of... we're not going to get eyes on how good that could be for you guys, at least for 8 weeks if Russ does poorly, but he's going to get his opportunity to do poorly. At least it seems like in Pittsburgh.
I like how everyone's talking about everything's on Justin Fields. Oh, he's practicing horrible. Is he going to be the thing? Is he going to be the thing? And it's like, he's not the guy.
He's not the guy.
He doesn't have to be
he's
the guy.
He's not the guy.
They can Taysom Hill him for a couple plays if they want, but he doesn't have to be the guy.
No, and they will not, because his pay is tied to how many snaps he takes as a starter, as a player.
Gotcha.
So unless Russell Wilson completely stinks, and he's going to have a long leash because of that. I forget what the percentage of plays is, but they're going to go through like at least 8 weeks, I would think, with Russell Wilson as the starter, unless he gets hurt.
You don't think, though,
Fields, they didn't even pick up his option for next year. He came in as a cheap backup.
I guess. I thought we would see him in some of those sets that can be dynamic plays, 3-4 times a game that can move the sticks. You don't think so?
I think if they do,
you got Artie, I think, right?
For the rest of the offense.
You think so? I feel like it saves a snap. I was going the other way with that. Like, if he rips off an 8-yard draw, but he could pull back and throw to somebody, doesn't that give almost like a breather? Or you think it's a momentum killer?
No, I think if they have to resort, they built this offense around certain things, and it's not through Justin Fields' trick plays.
Fair.
That's not what they had intended. They had the opportunity to go get him for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And they did.
did.
They
Well,
immediately.
Russell came dirt cheap too. Russell's paid
correct.
Incredibly
the minimum.
He is as cheap as he can be, while another team in the same conference is paying the bulk of his salary.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And then you got Fields coming in, who, okay, if he never plays it down, it doesn't matter.
So
If
is
he
Russ
comes
done
in-
though? Is
I don't
Russ
think so.
done though? Like,
I don't think
I
so.
mean,
are you resorting to you just said you think he gets 8 weeks, but that might mean like a 4-4. That might mean a 3-5 in this murky middle.
I don't think he's done necessarily. I think he doesn't have to do anything else than game manage and don't turn the ball over, but be able to step up in certain situations. And I think he's shown, I know he's shown he could do it. I know he hasn't been a great quarterback the last couple of years. They've got a really tough schedule. It could be bad.
He was good last year.
He was good last year.
Says. He was good last year.
I had him fantasy and he took me to the final.
I think if we get to ranking the quarterbacks in the division, I don't know if I'm going to have him. He's not 1 or 2.
No.
I don't know if he's 3.
He's definitely.
So I don't have super high expectations for him.
He's 3.
But I have pretty high expectations for just like the competency upgrade compared to what we had last year.
I was just going to say, I think worst case scenario, he is 10x better than the guys you were running out last year. 10x minimum.
Practice Kenny's awesome.
Practice, yeah, of course he is. He's great. He's so
Practice
good.
Kenny's better than Jalen Hurts.
I believe it. I believe it.
Practice Kenny doesn't have a job anymore.
He does not. He doesn't.
Where did he go?
He's over in Philadelphia, and all the reports are that
Philly.
he's out practicing Jalen Hurts, which is hilarious.
Yeah. Practice
I
Kenny
bought
strong.
into that hype last year.
You did.
That's literally how you can tell these people typically how they're good or not. But some guys fold under the lights, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
He's a great. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
To pair it, I'm going to speak for Mike Spillane and myself. Loved the Giants draft. Malik Neighbors, so excited, very excited to see what he's got. Oh yeah, he's wide receiver 1 on the depth chart yesterday. So super excited about that. Need to get myself some Malik Neighbors rookie cards.
You do. I need to as well, just because he has a chance to be. I heard rumors back to draft time that he was the true number 1 that people wanted. Marvin Harrison just had the name.
A lot of people put him as 1
ahead of Harrison Jr.
So we talked about this when we were doing the mocks and stuff. Harrison is just a cleaner wide receiver. His breaks are great. His releases are great. But he doesn't have a lot of speed. You know, it's not that he's slow, but he's not gonna be a burner. Whereas Neighbors runs good routes. They're not the best routes. They're not the cleanest routes, but he runs good routes. He's quick.
Isn't he kind of big?
He's got a good body. Yeah, he's big. He's not big. You know, he's like he's muscular, strong.
Like
he's like
Debo,
I think he's 6'1".
Debo Samuel style.
Debo-ish.
Not DK Metcalf.
And he's
big.
No, not DK Metcalf big. That dude's a freak. I don't even know.
Yeah, he's fun to watch though.
Oh my god, so fun. But yeah, love the Neighbors pick. Loved a lot of the other picks that they did later. Curious to see what happens this year. Kind of hoping for competitive losing season. Lose by a field goal here and there. Touchdown.
What kind of fandom is that? That's such a low bar. Super Bowl, baby. Let's go.
Need a quarterback. Need a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Don't have one. Have one.
You couldn't at least hope for competence?
That's what I was about to say. And in the last 25 years, there's been at
year
least 3.
6?
At least 3
year
or 4.
6? This dude is going to be competent in the first 5 years.
What if he figures it out?
Count.
He's like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, but what if he figures it out?
No.
Or what if the rest of the team just steps up in a big way?
See? I mean, it's not like you gave away your best running back or anything.
Games.
I have feelings about Saquon, and I don't feel bad that he's in Philly. That locker room is toxic, and I think the Eagles are going out round 1. I'm not done with him. Yeah. I love Saquon, but to do it the way that he did it,
he's dead to you. Yeah, he's fucking dead to you. I get it.
But fuck that guy. I love Saquon. I have Saquon stuff. I will keep it. I unless a Philly fan offers me dumb amounts of money for it, and then I'll be like, yeah,
then
man,
you take it, bro. You sell all of them.
Yeah, every bit. But yeah, I think the Giants are a quarterback away, and I'm excited to see what this defense does. Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm excited to see them hopefully reinforce this offensive line, get that under control. But yeah, I stand by. I think they're a quarterback away, and we'll see what happens. So, quick chat as we're talking about quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins is an Atlanta Falcon. He was not that last time we spoke. Atlanta, with their first pick in the first round, or their only pick in the first round, but their pick in the first round, took quarterback Michael Penix from Washington without telling Kirk Cousins that they were going to do that.
They told him right before it. Just before it.
At the same time they were on the phone with Michael Penix.
That's correct. That's correct.
So I'm going to start with you, Mike Thomas. What?
Look, it is well known that I don't follow college football all that well, although I am super excited for no reason for the college football 25 video game that's coming out. I just saw some of the clips for it and immediately went nostalgia bomb into my head. I like that game more than Madden. Ironically enough, the more I watch about the video game, the less interested I am in it because it's just EA all over the place. But that's another story. I don't know much about college football. So the draft is kind of I look to see, as Craig does when he watches hockey, how do other people react to the picks? And then that's my opinion. Yeah. So I just really enjoyed all of the memes and the fun, laughing and pointing fingers at Atlanta at this.
So many memes.
Because on the surface, it makes no sense whatsoever. None. You pay Kirk Cousins to come in and win now. That's what you're doing when you hire and sign somebody like Kirk Cousins. Win now. Okay, you go get a quarterback to win 3 to 4 years from now. But isn't he on the older side? Like, he's the type of quarterback where he kind of needs to play in the next year or two to get the reps needed to be on the better end of his journey. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like the option to. He's ancient. What
do you mean? Wait, who? Kirk?
Michael Penix.
Oh, he's 20. You said he's 25, right?
He's 24. He turned 24 May 8th.
Counterpoint here to what Mike's saying, which you might not agree with either, is there's one team in the league who has gotten this quarterback thing right for like 30 fucking years. They went from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love, and they have a guy. Jordan Love is looking like that's working out just fine. Is it possible that someone in Atlanta is trying to play that game? They've assessed Michael Penix. They believe he is the Mahomes of the draft, right? They believe that. So they say, or they think it's the love of the draft. And this is in the case of Green Bay, who had a very expensive Aaron Rodgers. It also alienated him. So I think there's a chance, a non-zero chance, that the front office is trying to believe that this is the guy, and they fully intend Kirk to start for the next 3 seasons. And will like sprinkle Penix in to groom him, a la Jordan Love, a la Aaron Rodgers. I think that there's a possibility of that.
I don't disagree with the theory behind it. The issue is, dude's 24, isn't going to take a snap till he's 28 as a starter.
No snaps. You saw Jordan Love. Hell, Mahomes sat originally, right? It didn't not 3 years. I know that. But he was also, there was an injury that got him in fully, right? They had full intention of grooming him even further. Didn't Smith get hurt?
No, they traded him after his one season. He went to the play. He got hurt in Washington. He didn't get hurt.
I thought he basically, Pat was playing some late in the season more frequently because of an injury. I could be wrong. But I thought that's
I know he played the last game of the season
of the first season.
They sat
because
all the starters.
They made the playoffs and he looked good.
Yeah, they clinched.
You're right. So I'm just saying, I think it's interesting. If they're right, we'll know in 3. We'll know in 2 seasons. We won't fully know this year.
To that is that if you're going all in on Kirk Cousins and you are all in on win now.
Oh, it's bad.
This is another thing.
Play.
Another thing we talked about in the mocks, and Mike and I talked about. I think I said this on TikTok. If you're going all in on Kirk Cousins, first of all, you just told Kirk Cousins we needed a contingency plan. It's a bad look for a guy that just was like, I'm going to retire a Falcon. Two, if you're all in on Kirk Cousins and you are all in on like win now, we're going to do this, we want to make noise in the NFC, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You used a resource that you are never going to be picking this high again for 3 years, and you used it on a quarterback, not reinforcing the offensive line, not a corner. When AJ Terrell, their best corner, is a free agent after this year, they need help along that defensive line. They need help along that defense. They lost Calais Campbell. There is holes aplenty on that team, and you decided to make the pick. I understand the like, we want to be good for a long time. Win one first. You don't have one.
No, they just want to be relevant. They might make the playoffs with more frequency. And I'm going the optimistic angle.
No, but when you sign a Kirk Cousins to that contract, it's, as Pat said, it's win now. You got to that's not like
wait a minute.
Team that's
hold
just
on
a quarterback away.
What, Kirk Cousins contract, doesn't it average only 40 and all the real studs are getting 55 now? Yeah. So wait, his average annual is 45. So he's technically not in the tier of the elites. So you could make the argument Daniel Jones is getting 40 a year.
Correct.
So it's like, I don't know that the money dictates. I think they did a psychological mistake. They psychologically bombed Kirk Cousins more than financial. I think that's tier 2 of starting quarterbacks. You're making the 55s when you're in this tier 1 payment wise. And boy, Mahomes at some point is going to need 60, I think. It's going to be gross.
He's gonna continuously like jump these guys.
He has
forever and all time.
I think it's going to happen soon because he's going to look at these guys getting 55, Trevor, and now Tua's going to get more than that, and he's going to be like, "Hey guys, insane. I need my average to be 60 if you don't want me to have like a second win my next 3 somewhere else." That feels historic too. You know what I mean? He just gets into full negotiation mode, realizing he's a business. He's special. He's fun to watch.
He's so good. He's so good. I can't say I hated Tom Brady after 3. Like that was when I was like, fuck this guy. I love this guy. Watching Patrick Mahomes. Love Patrick Mahomes. I will watch him.
We're seeing the right kind of history
constantly.
I only respect Brady now. I hated him during football. I respect it more now. He's done. He's gone. He can't hurt my Colts fandom or my Dolphins fandom anymore. He hurt both.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
He is partial owner of the Raiders. He's a partial owner of the Raiders.
Well, first off, he's already cost us Greg Olsen, and that is almost unforgivable.
He did.
Almost unforgivable.
Greg Olsen was very good.
For a radio man. For a radio man, that hurts you in the deep place.
As somebody who actually likes the play-by-play and color commentary and understand that is a major part of what makes football so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they don't even realize how important it is to the broadcast, but it's super important to the broadcast and to the NFL growing its fan base are those people explaining what the hell's happening on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
Greg Olsen was fantastic at it.
Where'd he go? I thought he went.
I don't think he went anywhere.
I don't think he's been signed anywhere yet. And I honestly appreciate Greg Olsen so much more after having to listen to Jason Witten for a season. That made me be like, oh, Greg, you're so good at this. Because my other comparison was just Witten being the worst tight end commentator ever.
Fox. He'll be the Fox number 2. So we'll see him 3 or 4 times a year, I think. No,
not enough.
We would see him any game that's the non-premier Fox game.
Is he getting the secondary?
He should go every week with someone else. So I guess he
will broadcast every week, but will you be able to see it? Probably not, because you would have to be on that region.
Right.
Or the ticket.
Only if you have the ticket. Yeah.
Fucking ticket.
So I'll see him on TV if I'm going to Gators with my pops and all the games are up, but I won't necessarily hear him.
Yeah, you won't hear shit.
Well, very interesting.
Well, they do play draft. 1. They play 1. It's always the Eagles, which
doo-doo.
Kenny Pickett had another great practice and threw an interception.
So very interesting draft talks. I'm excited. Mike and I are already getting prepped for college football. I'm excited to do a deep dive on the quarterbacks this upcoming draft because I think that's where the Giants are going to target. Do not want Shador Sanders. Fuck your couch. Hard pass on him. I think there's some character concerns there.
Oh my
He
God!
thinks he's Dion and he's not. So whatever. I want to pivot real quick, talk about Hard Knocks briefly before we get into our signings and extensions, and then we'll do some divisional chat, starting with the AFC and the NFC North, in the honor of Mike Thomas. So Hard Knocks, the Giants are getting the first off-season Hard Knocks ever. Very excited
What is
for this. So they essentially, since the end of the regular season,
sound like
there
such
have been
old fogey.
He sounds angry about it.
What is this? I don't like things that are different.
Hold on a second. Training camp was the off-season Hard Knocks, but no. Now we need to have this other portion
in their regular life. Probably
of the regular season, there have been cameras at the Giants facility, and they've been following around management. They've been following around.
Yep.
Well, actually, they caught a lot because there was a lot of drama with Wink Martindale immediately as soon as the Giants, wrapped that game. A lot of drama there. They traded for Brian Burns. They did a lot of draft prep, taking visits, bringing people in. There was a lot of negotiations with New England trying to move up to 3, which I don't think they're going to show because the Giants tried to be like, no, we were going to trade up for a tackle. And we all know that was fucking bullshit. They wanted Drake May. I wanted them to have Drake May, but here we are. So there's actually a lot that happened that I'm really excited to see the negotiation with Carolina and how that went down. And
I'm with you,
man.
I think
signings, OTAs, all that stuff I think is really cool.
And when is this coming out?
Soon. I believe the first episode is July 2nd.
It gives
them just
more
roll right into the main Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Yes, and then into the in season, bro. It's a content thing. It's awesome if you like this type of content.
Yes, correct.
But here's the thing: for them, they make so much money. It's a good play. Give us more. Give us more. We'll eat it up, Fruit Loop style. You know what I mean? It's sugar cereal for the fans. At some point, they'll probably hit oversaturation, and then we'll have to look for other sports. Will have an opportunity. There's no way the NFL just stays up and to the right forever. It can't be true.
I just hope that they figure out the broadcast schedule for the in-season Hard Knocks, because how could these people make all those millions of dollars and decide to stick the in-season Hard Knocks at Wednesday night at what time did it come out? 9 or 10?
But they don't care.
And then, so most people, a lot of people, like myself included, my family, we would wait until the next day to watch it. And of course, the next day is Thursday night football. You had it. You could just do it Tuesday night. Just do it Tuesday night, the night that there's no football, and then you give people the chance for 2 nights to watch your in-season Hard Knocks before football starts. Because if I have the choice of watching an in-season Hard Knocks or a Thursday night football game, as bad as Thursday night football is, and the broadcast isn't that enjoyable, I will still watch it.
It's still football.
Very harsh feedback.
It's a rough. Thursday night games are rough though. Sometimes I'll be like, no.
He's better at college.
He's so much better at college. He's so much better at college. I think he's just trying to get his feet wet. I don't think he's trying to rock the boat too much. So I get it. But I'm excited for the offseason Hard Knocks for the Giants. There's a lot that could be in there. I think the NFL is gonna. Giants probably get first right of refusal on any edits, so there's going to be stuff that they don't want to leak. But I'm excited to see the draft process, how they go about that, what their draft board looked like, all that good stuff. Bears are the training camp Hard Knocks. I'm crazy excited for this. Like Craig said earlier, this is the first time I'm looking forward to Bears games. That's going to be cool. That division might actually be halfway decent, which we're going to talk about here shortly. So excited for that. The
Hard Knocks just got us for 20 weeks. It got us.
Oh my God.
They fucking got us. I used to have them for 4 weeks of my life. And last year was with the Finns. It got me. It's going to become.
I watched the Finns. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It's going to become a part of my weekly routine like Game of Thrones, right? But Mike had a fair gripe. It would be nicer on Tuesday than Wednesday, but I don't care. I will still make it a Wednesday thing. I watch during football season. I still have more attention for it. You know what I mean? I'm still driven to want to watch. You guys know I would try to get in every Thursday.
I just have to go to bed at some point.
I know. I get it's tough. It sucks. I stay up later than you, bro. I just naturally stay up later. I watch like every night game during season now. It's so fun because the kid is always asleep. So it's always. Like it's me time. He's never going to be awake at 8:30. Well, no,
until you're ready to like. Then it'll be cool when he's up at 8:30. You're like, all right, then it's going to be fun.
8:30, he is sometimes still awake. So I'm not trying to say I always make the first quarter. Like I didn't get the first quarter of the Mavericks game, but I am currently able to watch a lot of sports.
You mean the Celtics game?
I see what you did there. I stand by my fandom. I respect what Boston did. Okay. But I was watching to see Luka do something that he did not do. I was looking to see Luka do a Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid has done the historic shit for 2 games with his back against the boards, I should say, or whatever they would say. Yeah, that's compelling. Luka, who I still love, did not do that. And I want to believe it's because of the knee and the chest issue and all that. And that if he's at full health, he's the who we see he can be in other series, but he did not really impress in the finals.
It was bad. Anyway, Bears excited about that. A lot of transitional pieces there, a lot of hype, a lot of rookies, the heir apparent, Caleb Williams, the prince that was promised, Rome Odunze being over there, Keenan Allen going over there. That head coach who is DJ Moore is also still there after last season.
Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet is going to be a fifth option.
They got a running back too.
Yeah, I don't remember who they got.
I'm gonna find it.
They did get someone though.
Swift.
That's right, DeAndre Swift.
So like they upgraded every single facet of the offense to give Caleb what could be the best freaking shot that we've seen a rookie have in a while. He might still blow it, but boy, he's got heat he's playing with.
It's exciting. I'm excited to see what they do. That coach is on the hot seat, so like he's got to get it right. Eberflus, I think is his name.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that is him.
He's on the hot seat. He had to beg for his job essentially this offseason.
Like, so give me Caleb, it'll work.
I can do it.
That they have I don't know how their defense is. It used to be always pretty good. How's their D now? I don't know.
I think it's okay. I don't think it's
that offense
a Bears
should be
old, but
compelling to watch.
Yeah, the offense should hum. That thing should hum.
He won't need to hold the ball very long. So if he can just move it to, he's got speed guys. He's got a lot going on right now. He don't have to sit back or do a bunch of running to make it work. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how smart he is. Is he Mahomes level smart? Can't be that tier, but maybe he can be in that second Burrow, tier. Herbert, guys that were good very quickly. It's possible.
You got any excitement for Bears Hard Knocks, Mike?
No. For some reason, I do not. I will watch it. Yeah, HBO is doing their best to get me to resubscribe between the new Game of Thrones season that came out, the Hard Knocks is coming up, and then the AFC North to just keep it going. So I'm a little bitter about reluctantly going to have like HBO Max for like 4 to 5 months, however long it is.
Just keep it.
As soon as AFC North Hard Knocks is over, that shit's canceled.
There's fun movies on there.
Who's got time for movies?
Not you.
I've got plenty of movies that I can watch everywhere. We got Godzilla -1 is on Netflix. I don't need anything else.
Is that good? What is that?
It's a very good Godzilla movie. My wife is a huge Godzilla fan.
What?
So we got Godzilla, and the latest Godzilla Kong movie came out on digital. We bought it. She watched it 3 times that first weekend, and that movie's not good. No, it's not good.
It's real bad.
Godzilla -1.
I've heard someone else talk about this.
Super good.
And that is one that I will watch again. So, as much as I dislike Netflix, they've got some shit for me to watch.
Gotta get cool. I don't need subtitles though, Craig. Gotta get cool with subtitles.
I've heard the English dub is terrible. I've heard the English dub is terrible.
I already do that. My hearing is no bueno.
Hear. That's right.
Can't put it up so loud.
Craig's gonna have his fan on, and he's gonna just be subtitling away.
I already subtitle, bro.
I will subtitle, no problem. I do it on video games already. And I need to do it on more TV shows because I miss a lot.
Yeah, we do. We're old, bro.
I'm not that old yet, so I'm not subtitling.
You're in your low 30s.
What did he say? All I heard was
the very low 30s. What are you now?
33.
I was going to say that.
33.
I'm like a whole. In 7 years,
coming off.
Things will happen differently for you.
It's not going to be 7 years. He's got 2 kids.
Oh, you're right.
It's accelerating.
Oh, you're right. And it happened to Drew because he got the 3rd kid. It does accelerate.
It's 2-3 years.
You're going to start really deteriorating at 36 and a half, bro. Because unless you can do what I was not able to do, like be really about your fitness, spend that hour a day doing mobility stuff and stuff, you're going to have to do so much with them that you're going to hurt parts of you. You're going to injure yourself. And there's I don't think any cure for it. Like it just becomes chronic.
You're just old. You have old body. It's just old body.
Yeah, because I'm doing stuff now. I'm trying to stretch. I'm doing the rowing, but I have to like do a recovery situation. I have a back thing. I go hot as fuck in the shower and then cold as fuck to try to like do something. It is helping. It is helping.
Yeah.
Because Jacob wants me to run around a lot right now and push him on shit. And we're not even up to like super aggressive stuff. I'm like, I need to get more fit and mobile because this is going to be tough.
It sounds like it's going to be tough.
And you have 2.
I have to do it twice.
It's an exponent. It's like
it's not twice. It's at the same time for a lot of it.
It's slightly.
They're close enough
delayed,
in age.
but it's very.
You
close.
Screwed up. You should have waited like 6 years so you could really have one help with the other.
The one kid off on the other kid. That was the way.
Bingo,
that's how the Smarties would have done it. Dumb.
Well, before we got into this tangent, Mike, you did mention the AFC North for in-season Hard Knocks. You excited for that? Is that something you're going to watch with bated breath? Are you going to be calling into the Steelers and being like, "This is what the Bengals are doing"?
No. I don't know how excited I am about the AFC North just because none of the in-season Hard Knocks have grabbed me. And I was excited for all of them and never watched a single episode of either of the seasons that they've done.
The fifth one was good.
I'm concerned if they keep the same broadcast time that I'm not going to be able to watch as religiously as I would like. I'm also concerned that it's going to heavily focus on teams that I despise.
I mean, yes, it will. It will focus on them 75% of the time.
At minimum 75% of the time, unless there's some type of miracle storyline going on with the Steelers that is amazing for the cameras to watch.
You got the QB room that could be good, theoretically.
Well, you got Russ.
Right.
After what happened in Denver, I think there's going to be some interest in what Russ does, who he is.
He might say some weird stuff.
The star power is elsewhere. So, but for weird shit, that he might get extra airplay, but you don't want that.
They do have TJ. TJ is definitely a star, and I think seeing him and Myles Garrett side by side could be a cool.
Will be cool. Will be cool.
Will be cool.
The strength of Hard Knocks.
Health, please. Health.
The strength of Hard Knocks is not the superstars. It's the people you've never heard of.
No.
That become
That's just
amazing.
preseason stuff, though, I think. I don't feel that way about in-season. In-season, I want my sugar cereal again. Show me the TJ Watts. Build up that guy. Garrett. For the in-season, I'm drawn differently.
What did they do at the in-season with the Finns?
They showed everything I wanted.
Did they focus on the superstars?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Tyreek got a lot of play. Tua got a lot of play.
Waddle.
McDaniel was actually pretty prevalent,
McDaniel was huge in it. They gave us what we wanted. They made good TV. But I didn't know that because I'm with you, Mike. Previously, I ignored the in-season. However, I went back and watched Cardinals, I believe, J.J. Watt's final season.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. So I went back even.
I like that too.
I will watch stuff like that if I hadn't seen it. Like I'll watch some sports content out of sync that way. Not a game. I won't rewatch a game right now, but I'll rewatch because it's documentary style. They're making it like a beautiful show about the game I love.
I'm excited for wide receiver. That's another thing that we can.
Yes, please give me more of that.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff happening there. I do want another season of quarterback. I don't know that they'll be able to get guys to sign up to be
I
quarterback
thought they
again, but
were. You're for sure.
I think they pivoted to wide receiver because there was
I
dudes
don't
that were just
think
like,
so.
I don't want to do it.
And it's hilarious that the diva position has so many people that signed up for it.
So many, all of them, and they're
Just
all like
every
names.
single
They're
major
all
receiver was like, "I'll do it."
Yeah, no, Justin Jefferson was like, pick me, please. Speaking of Justin Jefferson, moving into signings and extensions while Craig looks at this quarterback stuff, he is staying in Minnesota for right now, 4 years, $140 million. Oh my God. That is redonkulous, but he is the best receiver in the league, hands down, no doubt about it. Dude is a certified stud.
He's also
Thoughts,
the
feelings?
only person who's going to sell a jersey in Minnesota right now.
That's accurate.
Woof.
Well,
Not
they
great.
gave away Dalvin Cook, and like that was the only other
Dalvin Cook.
stud.
They lost Daniil Hunter. They lost Kirk Cousins. TJ Hawkinson is there. He's a tight end.
Yep,
People
you
buy
will
tight
sell.
end
No,
jerseys.
people will buy some tight end jerseys, but
Jordan
JJ is a
Addison.
big deal. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
Addison is on the come up, but they need, to your point about the Giants, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a good quarterback. So there's this league, the era we're in, is the era of quarterback, and it's incredibly important to have a good one. It's tough to ride on a defense and a Brad Johnson. You know what I mean? It's tough to do that.
Doesn't happen anymore.
Not right now. Not right now. It does not. The way the rules are trending, I don't see it changing. But kudos for JJ bringing the market up. Tyreek, unfortunately, now is going to need more money.
Ooh, a 31-year-old receiver getting more money. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
Sounds like Odell Beckham Jr.
I pray for health. They didn't pay him. His deal has a bunch of performance based.
It does. Speaking of OBJ, he went to the Finns, and around the same time, Jalen Waddle was signed for 3 years, $84.75 million. So Waddle will be there for 3 years. Tyreek, I think, has 2 more years on his deal.
That's right.
OBJ, a 1-year deal with a lot of elevators in there. I like that you're excited that you guys got OBJ. He is not the dude that you want him to be.
Oh no, but I know that. See, here's the thing. He doesn't need to be the OBJ on the Giants anymore. He only needs to be a hybrid of a shimmer of what he was on the Rams, where he learned how to be a part of a winning organization without being the guy. His veteran, I think he could be like what Drew Holiday was for the Boston Celtics. They bring in the guy that recently won the title, is still competent, can have moments that are amazing. In fact, he actually had a few really good games in the finals, but he doesn't have to be the guy anymore. I view this, I'm very optimistic, obviously. I think he's just matured a lot through the process. So I can't even remember who the other receivers are after, because we're so top heavy. It doesn't
matter.
It doesn't. We're so top heavy.
Would make you look back with an OBJ season and be like, yeah, that was worth it.
What do you mean? For what's the deal?
Like, if you look at the end of the season,
million.
How many yards, touchdowns, games that he has a direct impact on would you look at and be like, yeah, that was worth it?
Oof. I mean, I think it'll depend on where they end up more than what his stat line looks like. Because if he's able to be a part of a cohesive team, that
it's
to me
$2 million
more than
they got him on a $2 million deal right now, and that's such low risk in this market. Where if he literally helps us win a game or two regular season and makes a play in the playoffs, it's worth $2 million to have veteran leadership around. That's just the dynamics of what we're paying Tyreek, what we're paying Waddle. We're paying them to get us 3,000 plus yards between the two of them. Maybe more is what they're being paid to do. That's the way I look at it, at least. So if he's awesome in the locker room, he's sorry to give basketball references, he's the Udonis Haslem of the Miami Heat, where you kept him around. He didn't have to do shit, but his veteran glue of the team. I'm very hopeful OBJ is at that stage of his career.
I'm worried about your offensive line.
Well, fuck you, man.
I don't know 2.5 of the guys that are on your line.
What you don't know is how good our young, up-and-coming people are. What you'll
So they
see is a
weren't
lot
on the
of
team last year when Tua was hit faster than most quarterbacks.
right. We just need to do
Right.
a little bit of
Got it.
shoring that up. That's more in the
Okay.
coaching. It's mostly in the coaching.
My concern with the Dolphins is twofold. It's just two things. I'm not even worried about their defense because I think they can outscore a bunch of teams.
Yes.
One is your offensive line giving Tua enough time to throw. That needs to happen. He needs to be able to have time to throw to Hill and Waddle and OBJ and fucking Craig Brooks. He needs to be able to hit you when you're open because you're the only one they're going to be able to afford after all this. You expect a call. They hear you running around with Jacob and they're like, well, can we put him in the slot?
I wouldn't want to get hit like that.
My second concern is the AFC, the NFL, but the AFC runs through Kansas City. Tua's numbers in outside cold games are horrific. They're not even bad. They are atrocious.
The whole team doesn't play well in cold weather.
Kansas City in fucking January, is he going to be able to do the thing that he needs to do?
Absolutely
okay.
not.
All right,
no,
great.
No. I'm not delirious or whatever. We need home field. And it's hard to do that. I think they ripped off like 6 wins in a row or something, and the optimism was there, and then things second half of the season completely fell apart, started stringing up losses, and like can't win playoff games, obviously. We didn't end as strong as we started either of the last 2 years. So it's a question of, can they actually get like relevance in the conference, win 14 games or something, and be done, bring people to South Florida where they have an actual like opportunity to be their best selves. We will not be winning in Kansas City,
because
or probably Buffalo.
boil people on the other sideline, and they're like, "We have the shade." It's a great tactic. It's an excellent tactic. People are upset about it. It fucking makes all the sense in the world to me. Makes all the sense. Why would you not take the competitive advantage that you could have? Exactly.
It's what Kansas City has. It's what Green Bay has.
It's the AFC. It's Kansas City. It's Cincinnati. Yeah. It's Buffalo. It's New York. If Aaron Rodgers gets his head out of his ass, which he's not going to.
He might. Garrett Wilson's special.
No. Yeah.
You just hate
Garrett
him.
Wilson is. I do. Yeah, I do. But he did that to himself. So I used to speak very highly of him, and now I don't because he's a shithead. I'm just worried that like the path, if they don't get first overall, if they don't get number 1 seed,
it's a loss. It's a loss. It's concerning. I wouldn't even call it concerning. I would just call it like, if we get that draw, good game. We didn't win a title this year. Let's hope the last year of the window is we can get home field, because we cannot. They're just not going to all of a sudden get better at playing in 0 degrees, right? It's hard to do that. You'd have to like cold train in weird ways. There's no real way to do that. The people that live there are just more acclimated to it. They don't get as shocked by it. So I feel like an advantage like that, and Pittsburgh gets pretty fucking cold. Like that type of advantage is a real one during the cold weather months and can be a game changer.
It's only an advantage against certain teams. Miami's one of them.
Right. Yeah. Southern California has some of that issue too.
Yeah. And then your stadium teams to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Ryan had that issue too.
Yes. Oh, I'm not excited about him. He's getting a lot more work with Fox.
NBC.
That one?
Fox?
No, you're right.
I thought
CBS.
He was with NBC.
No, it's CBS because of
You're right. It's CBS.
Boomer and Phil Simms got canned,
which I don't I never cared what they said, but they've been the voice of football for as long as I can remember. Like, not the voice of football, but they've
On
been
that
broadcasting
channel.
games for as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they might go back to broadcasting if they want, but they've not. They've been on the panel of the day show for a long time.
Right.
For a real long
so
time.
Boomer was in the booth for a while, and then I think
Yes,
he
he
got
was,
kicked out
yes.
with the Cowboys. Romo.
But I feel like, isn't the hierarchy, or maybe it is, the primo team in the booth, is that like higher tier than the most famous people on the day show? Who's the biggest and most elite?
Case by case.
Yeah.
It's case by case. Madden was always the number one when he was around.
The number one personality in
Bradshaw's
football.
pretty high. Bradshaw's pretty high up there.
Yeah, he
mediocre
gets a lot
quarterback.
He's won 4 titles.
Couldn't spell cat if you spot him the C and the T.
According to Hard Rock Bet, as of January 10th, 2024, Tua Tagovailoa has 4 professional games with a weather temperature of under 45 degrees. His record in those games is 0 wins and 4 losses with a 55.5 completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 71.8 passer rating.
I know, dude. We said it. He would lose if we get home field. It's very good because here's the thing.
What if you get a cold snap in Miami?
Oh, don't matter. No, come on. It won't get that cold. It won't get fucking that cold. It doesn't
Under
go into
45 degrees, it could happen.
It could happen, but here's the thing. I think 45 would be all right. It's in the 20s, the 10s. Like, we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed. 45 feels sort of like 50. You'd be all right. You figure it out. You don't need like hand warmers the whole time. You don't need the stuff you need when it's 20 below. You to feel like you're not going to die.
The jackets.
You need everything. You need all the stuff. We're not built for that. The team is never going to be built for that. Home field would be and is important through the playoffs because if they get the 1 seed, they have it all the way through. Super Bowl is always played in a controlled environment. Always. So
except for when it's in New York.
Oh yeah, that'll be outside. When's that?
I don't know.
See, I feel like they're not even letting it be outside lately.
They did a Giants Jets Stadium 1, and they had good weather for it, but I don't know how often they go up north with outside.
It was just cold.
Yeah.
So Little Caesar Superdome in New Orleans, and then
really Little Caesars sponsors the Superdome now. That's upsetting.
Apparently.
There should be a better pizza chain on that building.
Oh no, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just Caesars because it says Caesars Superdome.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
I input the lil. Sorry.
I mean, those pizza puffs are okay, but they're not enough for them to sponsor the
hundreds of millions of dollars.
And Super Bowl 60 is not in a climate controlled. It's at Levi Stadium in California. So the 49ers Stadium.
Oh, California.
Southern but they've done that for years.
Yeah.
Yes. And 2027 will be at SoFi.
SoFi is going to get a bunch of them consistently.
And then
Dallas will get some more.
It looks so cool.
That's all I'm saying. Like if we get home field, it's going to be very tough to do that. Very, very tough. There's a lot of good teams in all of football, but AFC's got the defending champs. They're stacked.
And the Texans look so good. The Texans
very upsetting. Very upsetting. Playoffs are going to be so tough. We were a 5 seed, I think, last year. Incorrectly called a 7 seed on the Super Bowl rings. Chiefs doing a little bit of
I love it.
Disrespect there for sure. But
the next Super Bowl winner should mark all of their opponents as 7 seeds.
You suck.
Worthless.
You suck. Okay, quickly, because I know we got some other things to get to. T. Higgins signed with Cincinnati. He signed that franchise tag. Mike, how does that make you feel?
Indifferent. He's
really?
fine.
T. Higgins is an indifference?
Yeah, he's been there. He's fine.
That's a team Mike doesn't like. So
I'm just not particularly scared of any of the in-division rivals. So, go do you. Go get your stuff.
I mean, that is certainly an opinion that you have.
That is an opinion.
He's nervous to be 4th in that division this year.
I'm not
he won't
nervous
be 4th.
to be.
Deshaun Watson's trash. So
I
I'm
agree
not
with you.
worried about
I
you
agree
being
with you.
fourth. So
I'm not nervous about being fourth. I mean, they did what they could to compete this year. We'll see what happens. They got a tough division with some good teams in there, but they're division games. The Steelers are going to play up to their competition and
That's right.
down to their competition. That's
Mike
what they do.
Tomlin doesn't lose seasons. You will get a winning season, 9 or 10 games, guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
So how do you feel about that extension in T. Higgins is a non-reaction? Some people are upset at the Tomlin extension for 3 years. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I will drink their tears of the people who are upset. I've been a big Tomlin fan over the years. I do not know where you would go to get an upgrade.
No, you can't. There's nothing
on him.
There's no
upgrade to be had. He is a fantastic
never had a losing
coach.
Season. Never.
If it was my team, he would be coaching there until he's gone, and then I will be throwing money at him to. No, not even in Belichick's prime, because Tomlin is a perfect Pittsburgh coach.
Wow, in the prime, you get more titles, possibly.
Mainly because Belichick wouldn't have been in New England.
Though, so.
Yeah, that's true.
What's he doing that's creepy?
He's dating a 24-year-old.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I saw a thing today where his first year, when he first met her, he signed her homework.
She's a former Patriots cheerleader too.
Patriots cheerleader? I saw she was a cheerleader. I assumed it was a college cheerleader.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. I thought I read New England. Maybe the New England was with Belichick, and then she was like cheerleader.
Oh, that's a 50-year age gap. That's tough, bro.
It's not great.
Wow. I'm impressed with him. Way to pull, that. I didn't remember he got divorced.
They broke up. He was never married to that woman that he was with for like 20 years. She was his girlfriend.
He's got kids, I thought.
He was married to Tom Brady.
Him and Tom Brady kissed on the mouth so many times. What are you talking about?
I'm impressed, Bill.
So I want to pivot now to talk about the two big signings before we get into our quarterback rankings, divisional winners projected by us, the crazy people on the panel. Jared Goff, 4 years, $212 million, putting him in the top 5 of average annual value for quarterbacks. What is the world coming to when Jared Goff is in the top 5 of quarterbacks being paid? I understand it's the market.
Why the hate? He just had a very good year.
All it is.
He did.
Who are the 5 latest quarterbacks to sign a contract? That's your list of highest paid quarterbacks.
Whoa. Yeah. Because Kirk Cousins is in that. You have to be in that top 10 conversation, and Goff is knocking on the door, getting him to the NFC
top 12 conversation.
Okay,
Jared Goff is like 11.
Yep. I'm just saying, getting him, and they're chanting his name because since Stafford, they had competence, no playoff victories. Goff comes in, I think they won like 2 and made it to the NFC championship. And that was a winnable game.
Campbell blew that game for them.
Correct. That was a winnable game. So I think he's actually doing amazing things as the right guy for the team. I don't think he has to be throwing 4,500 yards or 40 TDs to be that. He's got Amon-Ra. He's got a good backfield. They've got a good tight end too, whose name I don't remember at this moment because it's not Hawkinson. They sent him.
Sam Laporta.
Laporta. Oh my God, like so exciting. I'm way higher on Jared Goff coming into this year than you are, I think.
Yeah, because I just think that like a lot of guys could be Jared Goff. He doesn't deserve what he's getting paid.
Oh, come on now. Deserving the money is a weird thing to say these days because we're in funny money monopoly land for the last decade anyway.
It's true.
So we're not really now.
But you look at the names. You look at the names that he's above and with.
I know,
and
but
you're like one of these things is not like the other.
Here, but if you think of it more like market dynamics, the salary cap's going to be about 300 million soon. It keeps going up, but it's going to be 300 million. So the starting quarterback is going to get 20 to 25% of that. So we're going to see guys being paid between 60 and 70 million a year soon, just because the position warrants it from the financials. I think we've got to, this just me. I think we got to detach ourselves from a guy's worth in money to a human and do it as percentage of what this obscene revenue pie is. Because they're a straight up business like Apple, like fucking Saudi Aramco, or like an oil company. The NFL is operating that way. So I don't fault, like that's Tua is about to get what we would call overpaid. He's going to get 280 million, I think. It's going to be absurd. It's going to be absolutely absurd. Crazy. But think of like the soccer guys that were getting 400 million and 300 million. It was just market dynamics of what they're worth. So I don't know,
but
man.
They were actually the best guys at their positions. Jared Goff isn't, like we just said, even in the top 10 for
the NFL
position.
Makes too much money now. So even the bad teams can afford a $230 million guaranteed contract like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson. They're not going bankrupt. Somehow they were able to afford it. It's obscene. They're required to spend the salary cap up to, or you could spend up to the salary cap, right? So
yes,
and there's minimums as well. So this money is going to get spread around one way or another because the union keeps pushing. So Trevor getting 275, like I got to clap for the man. These people are making generational forever wealth.
Yeah, so that's the next one is Trevor Lawrence signed 5 years, 275 mil, 142 guaranteed at signing, 200 guaranteed eventually.
They call it practically now. Isn't that stupid?
Practically guaranteed.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So the contract verbiage is...
So if it's practically guaranteed, it's technically not guaranteed at all.
That's correct.
Correct.
They are opposing words. They do not mean the same thing.
The agents put this shit out there. It's part of like the we're trying to make it seem like more. But 142 is very good. But they're trying to anchor, well, the next guy's got to get 200 guaranteed. They're trying to get back to the Deshaun number and figure out who could be the one to go over it, which I think could only be Mahomes at this point.
He's the only one.
But here's the thing. It's actually more up to the agent than it is to the guy. You got to have a good agent who can absolutely put someone over the coals for $230 million guaranteed in a sport where a guy can get hit once and be done.
Over.
But so again, small tangent, and I'll let you go back to actual football, but the fucking Detroit Pistons, the coach they just fired 65 mil, and they don't care. The new owner came in, told the basketball head of operations, I want you to know you have full autonomy, even if it costs me full buyouts. Like, that's the kind of money these people are playing with now. We're writing off 65 mil over 7 years. Doesn't matter because the money coming in from the TV deals is that sick.
Dumb. That's dumb. The only thing I really have to say, I'm going to throw it to you, Mike, because you've been quiet in this conversation. I don't think either of these guys deserve to make the money they make over the guys that are making money behind them. If we're looking at it in the sense of how you play is what you are worth, I have a hard time believing that these guys are worth, like, Trevor Lawrence is not worth what Joe Burrow gets paid. Joe Burrow has injury history and injury issues, so I also don't think Joe Burrow is worth what Joe Burrow gets paid. Average annual value, $55 million a year. There's one, maybe two guys that deserve that amount, and it's Patrick Mahomes, and you could make the case for a Josh Allen, because I don't think that there's anyone else in the league that could will that Buffalo team to victory in the ways that Allen has. But he would be the only one that I would be even possibly willing to entertain that conversation about.
I think they oh, you're talking Mike, my bad.
No, you're good.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the NFL wants to continue to be the dominant pay per year thing. And I was looking it up, like Steph's at 52. They're saying LeBron is about to get 55. And like all these quarterbacks are just like, well, the NFL is the best league. It's not them, sorry. It's their agents. It's absolutely not the individual guy. I fully believe they're in the money-making zone where the guys don't even care now. It's the agents want to make theirs. Some of the guys want to get paid their value, but the numbers are so obscene they could just let the business work as the business is going. They're trying to extract max value. I don't blame them.
I remember being in high school and early college years and seeing all these massive athlete contracts and buying into what my parents' generation was saying of like, oh, they're overpaid and all this stuff. And then eventually somewhere along the lines being like, no, the leagues are making this money. It needs to go down. The players need to get their fair share. And that fair share is an obscene number.
Yes.
So I don't get bothered when I see these large quarterback contracts anymore, especially if it's somebody like Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff, where it's like, do they deserve that much money? No, but they're doing enough for their team that it makes business sense for the team to do it. So fine. I think I'm buying into that philosophy that I see online every once in a while of the quarterbacks need to have their own salary cap.
Oh yeah,
pull them out of the main salary cap, let them have their own quarterback salary cap, and then you can start to have because that's the main issue now is when you really are paying these quarterbacks big money, it's hard to pay everybody else.
Right. Let that money go to running backs and wide receivers and defensive backs and your interior defensive line. And like that money, if it's not being accounted against the cap and a quarterback, it's going somewhere else on the team.
It's part of the game, though. It's part of the game behind the game. What the GM does, what the front office does, is figure out their percentages of value of position. And quarterback right now in the NFL has so much value that it's at the high end worth 25% of the budget. If you think of it more like just a budget that you're using, you can play it that way. And where do you want to put your money? What type of team do you want?
It's not making quarterbacks get less. It's breaking their numbers out from the rest of the salary cap.
I get that. I just think it takes a strategic element out of the game. That's all. I think it takes a piece of the strategy.
I think it puts more into the game because you can give it doesn't matter who pays their quarterback what. You then get the opportunity to, if the Dolphins and the Giants go after the same player, you can be like, okay, look, we're going to give you 40 mil. They're going to give you 40 mil. But would you rather play in Miami or would you rather play in New York? And then you get another element to negotiation. You get another element of like team building and like culture. And I think there's things about that if you remove the quarterback from that.
If there was a position they would do it for, that's certainly the one.
Oh yeah.
It's the only one that's worth it.
And then you're just like, fuck you. You can have as much money as you want. We don't care. You're on your own thing, and they'll love that. But I think you'll see turnaround for quarterbacks.
I think you would still see a salary cap for a quarterback room. Like your team's quarterback room can't be more than X amount of dollars, whatever. Yeah, whatever the cap is for quarterbacks. And it would all go to the starter, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think you'd have a lot of agents that would lobby every single team would have to pay their top guy the top of the QB cap. They would all be able to make a good argument for that. Well, you need a starting quarterback, and the cap is $70 million now because it has to afford for Patty Mahomes.
It could.
I love it.
I think that would fuck up the market. So that's all my pushback is on that. I don't think we'll ever see it come to light.
No, I don't know that we will in that like removing it from the salary cap, but I think they'll get a different designation. I think like to use a soccer example in MLS, they have designated players and those players can be paid. Mike would be better to Spillane would be able to speak about this better than me, but they get DPs and those guys are able to be paid whatever. And it doesn't count against their salary cap because the MLS is a capped league and you get 2 of those per team. So kind of implementing something like that, I think could be fair. And you're still gonna have a market because their market isn't other players. Their market is each other. So whatever the cap is or however it's being formulated or whatever, if it's like the franchise tag where it's like, okay, we're going to take the average of the top 5 contracts and like that's the base that we're going to use. And then you can go up to 30 million above that or whatever. That's, that's the NFL's prerogative, but I think it creates more competition at the position and not lowers the market value because they're still going to be compared to each other.
Oh, I didn't mean lowers the market. I meant that the owners would hate that, which is why they wouldn't kind of let it in. I'm sure the players would love it. I feel like the owners would block this fully because it would mean they'd have to spend more on quarterback than some teams don't have to right now if they don't want to. It would force their hand more than they'd like, is all I think.
Yeah, I think, but that's another part of the game is like how much is too much, and like, are you willing to draft a quarterback every 4 years?
Right.
If you
Are
get
you willing to
the next Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So I think it's just another way to play the game. I like it. But anyway,
Stratego.
quarterback rankings. Yes, bring him back. I was talking about him the other day actually, and I was like, he was terrible. Did beat the Steelers though in the playoffs that one time. That wasn't that a thing, Mike?
It was a thing. I don't want to hear it.
How about that one time? Quarterback rankings. We're going to start in the AFC North. And I'm going to give my rankings first because I try not to spring this stuff on you guys. I like to go first. So my number one quarterback in the AFC North is Joseph Burrow.
Shocker.
So swaggy. Love his skill set. I can't help but picture him in a Dolphins uniform sometimes because Craig tried so hard to will that into existence. And I know you're content. You're in a happy place with Tua at the moment, but like Joe Burrow slinging the rock to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and just
Herbert would have been pretty sweet
Herbert
as well.
Also would have been very
could have
nice.
Actually had that one because he went after.
That's true. That is correct. He
I would
could have been a Dolphin.
With what Jim Harbaugh says about Herbert and the things I'm hearing going on, that would have been pretty nice.
Him being mic'd up and being like, this dude's so good. I'm like,
yeah.
Finally, the flowers for the guy that I like.
Yeah.
So I'm going Joe Burrow. My number 2 is Lamar Jackson. It's hard to argue against the guy. He is a regular season stud, and he is a playoff dud to this point. Not a whole lot else to say about that. I'm excited to see what the Ravens have this year. I would not want to see a backfield of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. That sounds horrifying, and we are going to see it, and I'm very excited for that as someone who doesn't give a shit about the AFC North. Number 3, I'm going to go Russell Wilson, who is, I think, a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson still right now to this day. And then Deshaun Watson or whoever's subbing in for him because he's broken or getting a massage or something in the Cleveland Browns is 4. I think the winner of this division this year is going to be Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to take it. I think they're just offensively deeper. Their defense is better. And like I said, Lamar is a stud in the regular season. So I think that they're going to take it. It'll go Baltimore, Cincy, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Mike Thomas, get mad at me. I'm ready.
I'm going to go Russell Wilson at 4th, and I'm happy about it. So
are you trying to drink?
Joe
Is
Burrow
this a reverse jinx?
No, it's just Joe Burrow 1. You can't really argue that. Lamar Jackson 2. I'm not super thrilled with Lamar Jackson. I don't think he is the end all be all when it comes to quarterbacks. Obviously, I don't think he's
I agree.
Particularly special or dangerous. I don't think he was deserving of all the accolades he got
I
last
think it was
year.
the weakest MVP award that's gone out in a couple years.
Yeah,
he got MVP, and it was just like
he won that. If I remember right, I don't remember the exact stat line, but I feel like the game that he leapfrogged into first and never let it go was a game that I'm pretty sure his defense got 5 interceptions.
I think,
or some ridiculous number.
Yeah,
so
5 sounds right.
It's whatever. He's second. You're not going to argue that. Deshaun Watson, garbage human. Not that great of a quarterback, but I will still put him at 3 because I just do not know what Russell Wilson is going to do for the Steelers this year. I hope he is going to be competent and play really well and be the second or third best quarterback in the division, but I just don't know. I think it's very likely he will be 4th. In terms of division winner, I think the Bengals win this easily. They've got a stupid easy schedule. So I kind of went through all of the different schedules for all the teams, and I think the Bengals kind of swamped this one like 13-4. They got games against New England, the Commanders, the Panthers, the Giants,
nice.
the Raiders, 2 games against the Brownies,
Real
the Chargers. Like they've got an easy schedule.
So my only concern with the Bengals, the only reason I didn't say they win the division, is because Joe Burrow has a tendency to get hurt at the wrong time.
He does.
And I want nothing but health for the man. I want nothing but health for anyone, except maybe Deshaun Watson. But whatever.
Yeah, that's different.
That's a different. It's not related to quarterback play. But I'm worried that Cincinnati will see some, and I'm worried. I'm worried about them. Jamar got a little banged up last season, wasn't the best. Losing Joe Mixon, I think, is a bigger deal than people think it is. That offensive line is still not good, so Joe's still going to be running for his life a little bit. And I've read something, I don't know how true it is, that his hand is like a wrist is never going to be the same after whatever injury he had or something like that. I don't know how true or false that is, but like it's a cause for concern. So we'll see. I get what you're saying, though. I respect what you're putting down.
I was very upset as I'm looking at the schedule. I'm like, oh, come on. Really? Really?
Well, don't you guys have the same, because you're in the same division, don't you play the same teams?
But for some reason, so the way it works is you play your division twice.
Right.
You choose, there's another division that you would play against, or 2 other divisions that you play against. So everybody in your division plays all those people. But then if you finished 3rd in your division, you play all the 3rd place division people as well. So for whatever reason, the Steelers' record is, I believe, one of the harder ones, if not the hardest one of the season. I have the Steelers going 9-8. Shocker.
Oof. That's tough. Craig Brooks.
Yeah.
Quarterback rankings for the AFC North and your division winner.
Okay. So I'm a big fan of Burrow. I like him, and I want only the best for him, just like you said. However, the risk thing concerns me even more than it concerns you. I heard 50% movement gets disrupted. Right back. So I don't know how much that affects throwing, though, to be honest. It's only the backward, like going that way. So I have no idea. And early signs of him throwing seemed like it wasn't a big deal. But his injury proneness actually means, for me, Lamar is the number one. I think he'll end the season as the strongest quarterback. If full health for everybody, I still think he could get there and even be better than Joe with the upside. But Joe, because the reality of injury issues, probably won't play 17 games, which to me is why I'll even have the Baltimore Ravens winning that division. I actually am more optimistic about Russell anywhere, because I'm just high on Russell. So I would put Deshaun at the bottom. Not even necessarily for personal reasons. I don't like the man and what he's done either. But I don't even think his play recently warrants excitement, where Russell had flashes of some interesting things. And there are some weapons on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe. You've got Jalen Warren, I think, is super exciting out of the backfield. Naj is still there, or he's gone? He's still there, right?
No, he's there. He didn't exercise his option, but he's there for at least 1 more year.
He's at least 1 more year, and I actually like him. I know he's not the fastest guy, but I like him. And then Pickens is actually like a stud. And there's at least one other receiver that's good. And I like Freiermuth a lot. So if full health for the Steelers, I think they could even be better than the Bengals. And it can go right now. I'm not taking into account difficulty of schedule, like, because I'm going in all things equal. Right. We don't know who's really going to be good, who's really not. I think
same for me. I haven't looked shit.
Right. So, and I'm not saying strength of schedule isn't important. I'm just saying if things go really well and that offense is as good as what it can be, and the defense of the Steelers is already good, I think you go Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy, Cleveland, with Cleveland possibly jumping if they outperform or get another backup quarterback sensation like they did last year. It won't be Flacco, though. I know he went somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't remember where he is, but he left. So before we get in the NFC, go ahead.
I just want to say something. It's the back half of the Steelers' schedule that is brutal. From week 11, it's home to Baltimore,
might go 10-0.
At Cleveland, at Cincinnati, home to Cleveland, at Philly, at Baltimore, home to Kansas City, home
Philly
to Cincinnati.
Philly might suck. Cincy might
I'm
be on
worried
their
about
last
that
legs by
other-
then.
Those other teams are definitely going to be,
They're
except
all
for the Browns.
They're very.
I think
You
Cincy
got
could be
some-
bad if Burrow goes down again early. Cincy could be bad.
Sure, any team, if you have a stud quarterback, any team that loses that quarterback is just not going to compete as well.
Yeah, I want like to see the Jets do well for like for them. I guess I'm no fan of them, so I don't like Rodgers specifically. I don't just wish bad health, but I think the luck they have over there, he's probably not going to play 17 games. Like there's just teams that are going to have some bad luck. It feels like I'm that always happens every year. That and Burrow and Rodgers seem most likely to have bad luck of guys that without bad luck the teams could be pretty dangerous.
What? Zach Wilson isn't gonna save the Jets again?
He's not with them.
He can't hurt them anymore.
He left.
He's in Denver. They're saying he might start in Denver, which is really sad.
Ouch.
What if
Yeah.
he's fantastic?
Zach Wilson doesn't want that.
He doesn't want
He
that.
does not
doesn't
want
wanna
that.
start there. He doesn't want that.
Flacco's a cult.
So, interesting that the Anthony
He
Richardson
will play. He will play.
Yeah, he's gonna
Flacco
play.
will take snaps because Richardson's great, dynamic, fun to watch. Will hurt himself. He just
Absolutely. He does not know how to slide. Before we get into the NFC, I want to quickly do a blind QB selection. I have two guys that I'm going to read some stats off for. I want you guys to pick who you would rather have between these two, and then we'll chat it out real quick. Guys that we have maybe talked about this evening even. So their games played, and this is from 2021 to 2023. Their games played, one guy, the first guy, we'll say quarterback A, has 50 games played. He has a 63.8 completion percentage. He's thrown for over 11,000 yards. He's got 58 tutties, 39 picks for a quarterback rating of 85. Quarterback B has 44 games started, completion percentage also 63.8, passing yards 9,707, passing touchdowns 67, interceptions 25 for a quarterback rating of 94.6. And quarterback B has a better passing yard average. So his average depth of target is higher than quarterback A. If I had this bag and I shook it up in front of you guys and I said, who are you taking, A or B? Who are you taking? I'm going to start with you, Mike Thomas. Who are you taking? Quarterback A or
Did you say the yards per attempt for both
yards
of them?
yards per attempt for quarterback A is 6.7. Yards per attempt for quarterback B is 7.3.
I'll take QBB.
Okay. Craig Brooks, are you also taking B or are you taking quarterback A?
I think quarterback B had the better TD to interception ratio as well. Felt like quarterback A was 2-1 and the other one was 3-1. Less games, fewer. You didn't talk about rushing tutties. You didn't give us that. So I would also probably
give that to you if you'd like. If you would like rushing information.
Oh, sure. If you have it.
Sure. Quarterback A, rushing yards in these seasons was 964. 11 rushing tutties. Quarterback B had 801 rushing yards, 8 rushing tutties. Mike, does that change your opinion at all?
Nah.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was a super disruption there on my end either. Yeah, I'd probably go with B.
Quarterback A just got paid $275 million over 5 years. Trevor Lawrence. Quarterback B is getting paid $1.5 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson.
Nice.
So very interesting.
Russell's great.
Very interesting. I'm curious
or
to see
Trevor's
how this...
not.
It was just fun. I was doing some stuff today, and I thought that would be a fun blind quarterback.
I think right this second, with the situation in Pittsburgh, I'd rather have Russ than Trevor. They're losing assets over in Jacksonville.
But so What is Russ actually getting paid by the NFL this year? What is Denver throwing in?
Almost 40, 30
yeah,
something.
He's getting paid. I think it's like 39.67, something like that.
Not that he's worth it, but he's getting that amount. Trevor Lawrence is getting paid because of his age, is what it is.
Correct. That's right.
He has
and
proven that he is,
and
he's competent, and he will be around for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, they guaranteed themselves. That's why these guys are getting this money. They're all young men. Kirk can't get it because he's too old.
He's an old guy. I mean, he's got every contract guaranteed over his last 3 teams anyway, so what does it matter?
But these other guys are going to hit this next tier of, like, Kirk couldn't have gotten a $300 million deal is what Mike's saying.
No.
It wouldn't be possible, which is true. Tua is only 26. He's too old. He's 30-something already. He's like 32, I think, isn't he, Kirk?
I think he's older than that. I think he's like 34.
He is 35. So, yeah, you just won't see a 35-year-old get a 5-year deal, but you absolutely will see a 25-year-old.
Oh, my God. He's going to be 36 when the season starts, August 19th.
Yeah.
Maybe Michael Penix sees the field sooner than later.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that's not such a bad move for them if it goes that way. If they get a great final fuck you year out of Kirk and they get relevant, they win a playoff game or two, maybe compete, and then Penix comes in and Kirk, like, never fulfills the deal and just kind of leaves after 2 years. I could see it.
It's fully guaranteed. I'm curious how that works, but I guess we'll have to wait.
His isn't fully guaranteed, I don't think, is it?
Kirk's is.
Good for him.
I'm pretty sure he got another full.
Isn't that his
I
MO
thought it had
lately?
2 numbers.
Yeah.
I thought it was 140 and 180.
His Washington one, he got fully guaranteed when he upped for like 2 years. His Minnesota was fully guaranteed, and then I think his Atlanta was fully guaranteed.
Look it up.
While you do that, we're going to talk about the NFC North. Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, former Kirk Cousins team. As we speak about him, I'm going to rank our quarterbacks first. Number 1 in this group, I'm going to go hot takey, and I'm going to say Jordan Love because I like his upside more than I like the upside of Jared Goff. I think Love has a lot more room to grow, has a lot more traits that I value in a quarterback personally. So I'm going to take Jordan Love 1, Jared Goff 2, Caleb Williams 3, Sam Darnold 4. Man sees ghosts. You can't trust a man that sees ghosts. Winning this division this year, I still think is going to be the Detroit Lions. I think they're going to be first. Second, I'm going to say the Chicago Bears. Second in the division over the Packers, who finished third, and the Vikings fourth. Mike Thomas, thoughts, feelings, opinions.
Okay, so when we rank these quarterbacks, are they for right now or kind of in terms of if all things being equal and I were picking a quarterback to be somebody to be my quarterback for the next couple of years?
I take it as right now, but I still like Love over Goff right now. I think he's got a better skill set.
In that situation, if I'm the Lions, Goff is my guy. I don't think Love steps in there and does better than Goff. I think Goff is just the better fit for the Lions, and he's probably the better quarterback at this moment. Love would be hopefully close second. You want him to be the guy.
We only have 1 year, so
you damn well hope Caleb Williams better be at least 3 in this one, because damn it, if Sam Darnold is not fourth, there are issues. And I don't know if this is going to be a popular opinion. I don't think this division is going to be very good this year. I don't have anybody with double-digit wins in this division.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. I don't agree with that.
I think Detroit's going to be real good.
And I think Green Bay
is
going to be good too.
I like the Lions.
It was fun to watch.
Have them having a very good record.
Not sold on Green Bay. I just don't think Matt LaFleur is particularly good at his job, but that's just me.
But Jordan Love might be good enough to get 10 wins.
Maybe, but Josh Jacobs is a downgrade in my opinion from fucking guy whose name just jumped out of my Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. That's possible, but their young receiving core is quite exciting, and their return special teams is strong.
It is,
So
but there's, you lose two guys to injury. Christian Watson already shown he's susceptible to hamstrings
absolutely.
consistently. Romeo Dobbs, yeah.
But
But
BT Dubs, Kirk's deal is essentially, I know it's a 180 total, right? Not really. It's a 2-year 90. It's 90 guaranteed. So like he's paid a such different tier than like the other young guys now, all based on age. You nailed it. It's the age differential of how you're going to get $200 million guaranteed these days. No one in their mid 30s is going to be offered that. No way.
Craig, who you taking and ranking these quarterbacks in the NFC North?
Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Caleb, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold by far the worst, maybe a iota better than Daniel Jones, but definitely the worst out of these four.
We'll find out.
For sure. The only reason I got Caleb this low is I haven't seen a lick, right? Could he be the rookie of the year? And it looks like CJ Stroud 2.0, maybe. And then but
does that put him over Jordan or Jared though? Even if he
theoretically could. CJ Stroud was fantastic. CJ Stroud is right now probably a top 10 quarterback if we're going down the list.
Pretty close to top 5 too. He's probably
he might be. He might be. I haven't looked at the list. I'll teaser next episode, right? Like that's what we're going to look at. But if he does that, sweet. I don't know enough about him to know that. So I got to have him at 3. And the reason I think Love's upside is higher than Goff's, I think we've seen Goff's ceiling. It's good. It can get you deep in the playoffs. Maybe it can get you to the Super Bowl. He's been to one already. Again, it was the coach that blew it in that. You mentioned it earlier. Totally agree. But I think Jordan Love's upside is the ceiling is the highest this season. And I'm going pure optimism. And he's going to shred and have like 4,000 yards and 38 touchdowns or something if everyone's fully healthy.
Right. Well, who's your division winner in this division? You think Green Bay's taking it?
Well, no, because I think you made this point. I think Detroit's better coached. I know he made some mistakes, but I do think the guy's got a plan. Motor City Dan is doing it with the Detroit Lions. They're fun to watch. Mikey's down on him, so it just feels even better for me to be high on him. I think they win the division, followed by the Packers, Bears, and Vikings are probably going to bottom of the barrel. And Justin Jefferson, I'm so glad we get to see you play. We're not going to see you win a title on this contract right now. Like they don't have any exciting prospects right now.
Too many holes on that team. Minnesota's in a weird spot. They're in a weird spot.
Yeah, because they shot their wad a little bit. They had the little Kirk era, right? It didn't work out into a title. I think they made the playoffs a time or two and had some relevance, but nothing exciting. And now they're going to be in probably a dark hole for like 2 to 4 seasons. And then maybe they'll have a Houston Texans moment.
I'm excited to talk about the Texans later in the offseason because we got some time, guys. We got 6 weeks before training camp even starts.
Hard Knocks, yes.
Hard Knocks starting for the Giants in like 2 weeks ish.
Give it to me.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday. So I'm excited to see what's happening there. I will say before we go ahead.
Wait, so I was gonna say this is totally irrelevant. I was gonna say, guess what I watched that you told me to watch.
Did you watch X-Men?
I did.
Did you?
X-Men 97 is very good.
You both said that, so I did it.
So good.
I did it. I liked it.
Did you like it?
I did like it. I did like it. It felt like
he didn't like it.
No. I have positive things to say. It was the first time I felt like I haven't been reading my comics in a while. It's just been something that's been sitting over there. I used to do it very frequently. I read comics all the time or my graphic novels. And because of the subject matter being a little bit more adult thematically, at least I thought, and having to do with a lot more going on in episode 5, spoiler alert, when Gambit dies and things like that, I'm like, okay. But I will say that episode was an inflection point for me of how serious it felt. And then my desire to finish it. You said that to me, I believe. I think you said get to episode 5.
Yeah.
Because I found myself wandering in 3 and 4. I was like, I'm watching.
4 is the worst of the season by far.
Well, it's because it's a Jubilee episode and she's awful.
Half of it. Jubilee's not awful. It's just
no, she's awful. She's terrible.
She got extra powers. She got spinny razor discs. She got new powers. Fuck you, man.
She's terrible.
The creator, the showrunner said some really cool things about episode 5 in particular, where he was talking about how the first half of the season, the first 4 episodes were all about nostalgia. And it was that comfort of being a kid, watching the cartoon Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal and just diving into the nostalgia. And then for him, he specifically said that the episode 5 would be like when 9/11 happened and how everything changed forever, or the Pulse nightclub shooting, because he was big in that community in Orlando at that time, and all these other elements. And like, this tragedy happens out of nowhere and nothing will ever be the same. And seeing those comments afterwards, like, this guy got fired for something that is so horrible, nobody's willing to talk about it. So I don't want to
or something so stupid no one's willing to talk about it.
You would think if it was stupid, somebody would talk about it.
Well, he can't talk about it.
But he's dropping some very interesting pointers about each episode on his platform or X or wherever he's over at.
Oh, it's done
OnlyFans,
now?
Whatever
the case anymore?
Well, this season's done. Season 2 is coming.
He wrote season 2 before getting canned, and they've already done all the voice work for it, but it's going to be a bit before it comes out.
Is he a dirtbag? Is he a dirtbag guy?
He got fired right before the series premiered, and nobody is saying why.
It is suspected that he got fired because he has an OnlyFans.
But he had that before he got hired.
Does he show his penis in the OnlyFans? He does
not. Actually, I have not seen, but I've read
he subbed to find out
that he's
just for research.
He is he covers all of the bits. So
the rumors that I saw were that the rumors I saw was that he was a nightmare to work with.
I also saw that, but no one has said anything about that. Like no one in the crew or the cast. Yeah, like no one's been like, yeah, he was terrible to work with. That came out from Disney after they fired him, when they dropped the first 2 episodes and they were like, Bo DeMayo's been fired. And then they were like, yeah, he was really hard to work with. And everyone was just kind of like,
yeah, everybody is. It's just weird. It's weird that we haven't heard anything.
It's really weird.
The show was very good. I've watched it. Well, I've watched it once, working through it with my wife. We just finished episode 6.
Oh, you're on the second time. I don't think I could do that.
I mean, I'm sleeping through a lot of these episodes on the second go around.
I don't think I could do
Let's be clear. I fall asleep.
I've watched it so many times. It was my nighttime feed show with Callahan.
I don't think I can do that. I'm too I need to see more shit. I need to see more shit, new shit.
So I'm finding like little nuance and little things in the show that make me go back and like watch it. So like, for example, like if you didn't stay for the stinger at the end of the episode 10, Apocalypse is back on Genosha, and he puts his hand in the soil and brings up the Queen of Hearts card that Gambit threw in the fire, and he makes mention of making him Death, the horseman of the apocalypse. So that's how Gambit is going to be revived, which is going to be fucking sweet. Again, spoilers if you haven't didn't listen to Craig when he said it, but
I will say just real quick on that.
Dude.
The voice acting for some of them really threw me off, just because how dare these actors age 30 years since originally recording everything. The rogue actress in particular, her voice was probably the most disjointing for me, but she also delivered the best line of the series at the end of episode 5.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, I can't feel you.
Where she's like, I can't feel you. Which is
she's gonna win an award for that line.
Yeah, the way she delivered it was fantastic.
It was honestly the guy who does Beast. His voice has aged the best. It sounds like
he sounds exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Cable's guy was real good.
That's a
he
different
wasn't
actor.
Different actor.
The guy that voices Cable was actually originally Gambit.
Oh,
there's a making of on Disney Plus.
Voice. I didn't love Gambit's voice.
Well, you only got it for 5 episodes, so you were happy about that.
Not even. He wasn't in 4, so.
That's true. We got it for 4 episodes.
I didn't like Roberto's voice acting either, but I actually agree with you about some of the other people. And that line. But yeah, Roberto bothered me too.
Really?
Yeah, and then they put him and Jubilee together, and I was like, this episode sucks. I love
No,
the
it was
storm stuff though. The storm part of that
the
episode
storm
is really
stuff
cool.
was actually very compelling. I really liked it. I liked Forge a lot.
And you'll like that her flight after she gets her powers back is based on the Man of Steel first flight.
Oh, I didn't even notice
That's from Bo
That's
DeMeo.
cool.
He said that they used that as inspiration, and that's what they wanted the animation to look like.
That's cool. That's cool. I like shit like that. Like, no, I wouldn't have noticed that. I didn't know that. I liked it. I noticed that some of the animation was very cool, but I still think the way movies have drawn me in, like action movies and stuff whether it was Fall Guy or Bad Boys 4 that I recently saw, like, I need that in my life with more frequency but I will watch the next season. You got me there where I'm like, okay. I binged it. I watched like 5 or 6, and then the next night had to finish it. I needed to know what was going on. It just dragged me to 5, and then I was like, I'm in now.
Yeah, and just like some of the writing for me also is what I go back and listen to. Like some of the things that Magneto says, and like some of the things that Nightcrawler says are just so profound.
Oh, no, Nightcrawler's probably
Nightcrawler was awesome.
The best. He's like the philosopher of the whole thing.
The eulogy was
great.
amazing.
The eulogy was good when he's talking to Gambit and he's like, to love is to sin, and like, oh, so good. And one of the things that'll stick in my brain forever is when Magneto goes to the fucking North Pole and he's always just in his undies and he's just like, never again, and like,
oh, it was dope.
Essentially EMPs the whole world.
I like when scaled power is shown. I like that from our Superman conversations. I love when comic books show power scaled to places that like mind blow, because it's very cool. It shows like a strength of character. It reminds me of those trading cards where Magneto had like 9s and 10s, and you're like, why? Why does he have this?
The Magnet Man?
Just right, the metal guy? What? Because I had no love for him as a dumb kid until you see how powerful on the card, and you're like, I should respect this person.
It just EMPs the Earth.
The Earth.
Oh my god.
He Stone Aged the Earth, but then reversing it made no sense, but he did it.
He did do it. He did do it.
I don't think that would be reversible, would it?
I mean, if it's an Axis thing, yeah, I guess he could like move it back, but fuck if I know. That's science.
I took all the electricity away, and now I bring it back.
Fuck if I know. I'm not qualified to answer that. Let's get Bo DeMeo on the phone. Let's give him a call and see.
Or Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Is this legitimate, Bo? Neil would know.
No. We don't need Neil deGrasse Tyson. We need Terrence Howard. You heard about this. He's on a whole nother intellectual level.
1 times 1 is 2.
Oh, no.
Or whatever his thought process is.
This dude, you guys haven't heard about this. This went viral on the internet. I'll let you do your own journey on this, but I'll brief it in 45 seconds. He was on Rogan for an episode and talked rather eloquently about recreating Saturn and a bunch of like, he's apparently an engineer. He like went to college and all this stuff. He's got stuff out there that's messing people up. And he was saying a lot of the right words. So it wasn't like he was drunk or high or anything. It was wild. It was absolutely wild. So Terrence Howard, it's not a full meme because he said a lot of stuff that turned out to be, some people have proven what he's saying is true about these planetary bodies. And he's like, I don't know, he went to school for this shit, but nobody knew. So there's that.
The documentaries I've seen on like the flat earthers and stuff like that, they get people in there that are very, very, very smart. They get very intelligent stuff. They set up tests.
I don't know if he's that. I don't know if he's talking about flat Earth. I don't recall.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, like, these people who can get into conspiracies, they're very smart about some things in many ways. And like, they were setting up these very complex tests and being like, if the Earth was round, it would show us A, but it's going to show us B because the Earth is flat. And then they run the test and it shows results of A. And they're like,
I saw a clip of
something's
that.
wrong.
Yeah.
So we did something wrong.
The dude with like they had like a board and they had a hole in it, and then they had another guy go like 2 miles down the road and like hold the board up or something. And they were like, well, if the Earth is curved, we should be able to, at this point in time, have the sun reflect and come through this one into this ours, and we should be able to see it. Or like holds a light up or something. I can't remember. And then like it happens, and he's like, no, that's something's wrong. Like we did something wrong. It's like you did a scientific experiment and you're upset that you proved science? Okay. All right, man. Whatever. Shit. Okay. Well, with that tangent, you guys got a little bit of nerd pop culture stuff in there. We love X-Men 97. I'm excited to see the Fall Guy.
I like it.
I
When's
like
that coming to
Ryan
streaming?
Gosling a lot.
Probably soon, a couple weeks, probably, because
yeah.
it was in the theater 6 weeks ago. It's about back to 12 to 16 week cycles, right?
I think something like that. But I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see some more stuff. I'm excited to talk quarterbacks next episode. So if you like quarterback talk, that is all we're going to do. And I think we might even live stream that one. So we'll see what happens. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We greatly appreciate it. Do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, comment, let us know what you think of our takes, what you think of X-Men 97, what you think of the NFL right now, what you think of Sam Darnold. Probably garbage. But is he better than Daniel Jones? You can make the case, I think, probably, maybe.
He's worse than Jubilee.
He is worse than Jubilee. That is true. We can take that one to the bank. He is worse than Jubilee, but it's close. It's close.
Nah, Jubilee's much better.
I don't see it, but maybe. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. We will see you all back here next time.